Hi everyone, welcome to another episode of Advancing With. Today we're speaking with Roy, the founder and principal at TalentScout. Roy, tell us a little about yourself and say what's up.
Good to be here with you today. My name is Roy Cheran, and in 2016, I founded TalentScout. It really was designed and developed to help Pittsburgh-based organizations hire the best possible talent they could. But most importantly, I wanted to do it in a way that I would want to be served if I was sitting on the other side of the desk.
What was the motivation or the opportunity you saw with starting TalentScout?
Well, it kind of goes back into my career. I spent 30 years in the marketing arena in a really wide array of strategic business development roles. And then in my last leadership role, was recruited to act as VP of Sales and Marketing for an international SaaS firm here in Pittsburgh. They were interested in raising revenue and visibility in their industry and hopefully getting acquired. So 24 months later, we got acquired. And I thought to myself, well, what am I going to do next? I still wanted to be somewhat connected to the marketing ecosystem in some way, shape, or form. My best friend called me and said, hey, I've been in the staffing business, as you know, for a couple of decades. Let me tell you a little bit about what I do, how I do it. So ironically, my wife took an early out after 14 years from Giant Eagle Corporate. And we talked to my friend, saw how he put his business together. And that's when she and I decided to start TalentScout. And really it's been, we've been very, very blessed. The connectivity was great. And we've been fortunate to deliver terrific talent for clients around the region. And that's kind of the impetus of it all.
What was it like? I guess you should say, what is it like now? One of the hardest things for firms to find is talent.
The market has dramatically changed, obviously, since COVID, and there are a number of factors there, Nick, that are kind of playing into it. I think a lot of companies, and rightly so, looked at their teams and said, I want to lock in the best possible talent that we have on our team now and secured those people with additional benefits, additional raises, et cetera, and kind of, shed the people that they thought maybe weren't quite as productive as they could have been, or maybe they didn't need during the COVID business downturn. And then you have other companies that are building big internal agency teams themselves, and they have a lot of money. So you have escalation in terms of people's pay rates as well. And then you throw into that mix working remotely. So people began to get this wish list of all these 10 things they wanted to do to take a new job. And that wish list superseded the ability of the hiring managers to provide those things. And then, frankly, now it takes us twice as long to recruit half the number of qualified candidates. Most of the good people are, they're locked into where they are. They got great jobs. They're working hybrid, maybe, 1 day in or 2 days in and the rest of the time at home. And those are tough perks to beat. So it's a very, very challenging market right now to recruit stellar talent for somebody. And the ecosystem itself has changed so dramatically in the last dozen years with the explosion of digital. And most of the hiring managers in a corporate leadership marketing role got into the business way before that and don't know a lot about digital. So sometimes they don't even know what questions to ask or what attributes they're looking for in a candidate to fill a role. So what we try and do is we sit down with our clients and find out what their goals and objectives are and try and provide some insights on what positions we think would be most advantageous for them to look at filling.
Looking at more from, the employee side, the people you're trying to get into firms, like what is the thing they need to offer to be attracted to the top talent?
Well, I think they have to look and feel good online because candidates now are going to that company's website, whether it's a corporate organization or an agency. So I think any organization has to be buttoned up in terms of their online brand presence and messaging and be contemporary. You got to be with the times. the hiring company's brand now, especially for marketing people, is even more critical. How they look and feel to a prospective candidate is just as important as how much they're going to offer that candidate. And I think it's important for organizations to show people a career ladder, although not always spoken about or asked about from a candidate's perspective. They want to know, hey, if I do go to work here, what's not much about this move, but what's my next move going to be within the organization? What other opportunities are going to be afforded me?
No, that's some fantastic insight. Not what I expected you to say, but makes complete sense. So thanks for sharing that.
Well, don't forget,
Um,
money comes into play at some point.
yeah, of course. No one's here to work for free.
Interestingly, I interviewed a candidate, and it was for an agency here in town, and they have an open door policy as far as pets are concerned, right? So the gal said, well, I have a dog, but my dog's a little aggressive, so I don't think I want to bring my dog into the office. Do you think they would pay for me to hire a dog sitter the day or 2 days a week that I had to come into the office? I mean, those are the kinds of questions the candidates are asking.
I think that's a big factor. And maybe you have some more thoughts on that to talk about, but that's a big factor. I even think about how 2020, in COVID affected us, and like trying to have that work-life balance and like making time for those things. And like, I think the flexibility, right, of like having some time you can work from home and be in the office, it's kind of reprioritize things for people and maybe some good ways.
I mean, I think the society on a whole, we were all running at warp speed, not necessarily looking anywhere but through our little lens, our personal lens. And I think going through COVID and the devastation associated with it and the world change that occurred was enlightening for a lot of people. I think everybody loved the idea of working remotely, and who wouldn't, right? Now what we're seeing, though, is at least the candidates I'm talking to and the clients I work with, they had not seen a real drop off in terms of staff productivity, but they now see, when they're going back hybrid 1 or 2 days in the office, that kind of the tempo's picked up. And I think everybody now is moving quickly towards a happy medium, whether it's 2 days in and 3 out, or whatever it might be, or they have a full agency stand up on Tuesdays and you come one other day a week, it's your leisure. I think I know the people I talk to are very much in favor of that and have gotten reinvigorated by it and have had an opportunity to create stronger ties with, the people they work with. And I think that kind of opportunity is what grows the culture within the organization, creates the camaraderie, and the end result is happy people, good product.
You may not have any insights on this, but like what's interesting is I think in our industry, there's always this debate that some people go full force onto, some people don't do it all, and maybe some people toy with, is the idea of outsourcing, right? Like you can get some work overseas that can be good and, but also less of a cost to you, at least in a certain direct way to do. What are your thoughts on that, if you have any, and what have you seen in that regard?
Well, outsourcing for certain services, I think, is big, and I think sometimes it's very intelligent. In the corporate arena, big companies have the money to do whatever they want to do, and that's kind of a different scenario. But in the agency world, it's a question of, well, is my revenue rising quickly enough to offset my staffing needs, or am I at an imbalance? So a lot of shops that we work with will outsource either offshore or with contractors to get certain things done. There's been a lot of offshoring that I know of with clients that has not gone particularly well. There could be all kinds of communication barriers, time, language, blah, 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 that kind of get in the way of efficiencies. So I think it works sometimes if you're buttoned up and organized, and other times it cannot be, as productive or efficient.
What do you see for the future of the industry from your side of things, and also just from your past experience as well?
The marketing foundation, if you will, whether a corporate environment or agency, the need for those services is going to continue to grow, primarily due to the explosion of digital, that whole ecosystem is going to continue to grow, and companies need specialists in those areas to determine what the appropriate audience targeting should be, what channels they're going to use. And I think the demand for that is only going to continue to grow.
What do you want to say to the individuals that are just getting into the industry, or maybe just getting out of college or wrapping up college?
That's a great question, because most of the colleges that have marketing communications degrees are not really with the times. So I encourage them to go to a small company where they will be the one-armed paper hanger and do everything and learn, because I think you learn by doing in the marketing business. And at the same time, they will find themselves gravitating towards what discipline or what area of practice in marketing they really like, and can then either move in that pathway with their existing company or look for another job opportunity that's going to take them down that path, to give them a strong feeling of comfort and connection with their career moving forward.
No, I can agree with you. Can't agree with you more. It's that kind of baptism by fire. I mean, my internship was like that, and I think it helped a lot.
Yeah, you get your feet on
Yeah.
on the ground very, very quickly, and you start gravitating towards what you like, and you understand what you don't like, you know?
What do you, I think too, like everyone will have this experience for the most part, but like they might get a lot of no's and not find the right fit right for them yet in work. What would you say to them about that? What's your advice in that when they might be hitting some roadblocks, we'll say?
The first thing you have to do is you have to be diligent. And as one of my old sales mentors said, every no, you're one step closer to the yes. So I think you still have to keep pitching. With all marketers, I think the most difficult thing we have a challenge with selling sometimes is ourselves. So, it's good to look at your resume. It's good to look at samples that you may have that you executed either in a class project or in an internship. Think about all the assets you have to offer. And when you send your resume in, just don't send the resume. Say, hey, here's an example of a strategic project that I put together. Here's some copywriting that I did. Here's a video that I shot and edited. All those things add up to points in your corner to get the attention of that screener or hiring manager.
Thanks, Roy, so much for your conversation. Really appreciated your insights. I hope you enjoyed it all as much as I did, and we'll see you on the next episode of Advancing With next month. Have a good one.